I just wanted to touch up on that video, my last video that I released on us being captives and how we free ourselves. But first, word of warning, YouTube, I guess, deletes comments at their own will. A couple of viewer said she commented and it got deleted, and I didn't do it. So if that happens to you, I guess, I don't know. I do delete comments that are not appropriate. I don't delete them just because they disagree with me, only if they're inappropriate, X-rated, or if I have guests on and they are being mean to my guests. Another thing is, I watch Yogi Obes. He is a guy who speaks on femininity and masculinity, and I noticed he hadn't uploaded a video for a while, so I went looking for him and I saw that I was no longer subscribed. So YouTube also unsubscribes you from channels. So just keep that in mind. If you notice that one of your creators is not putting up videos, that you might have been unsubscribed if YouTube doesn't like their content. On my video about being captives, this last video, I'll put a link in the description below on how we have become slaves to the systems and how to set ourselves free. And a few viewers pointed out that we are, I'm speaking of America here because I don't know the rest of the world's state, we are fallen. We are in the situation that we're in because of sin, because we have turned our backs to God, and our morals just took a dive, right? And that is the case. That is why we're at where we're at, is because we no longer hold God's morals as standards, right? So, but that's what I said, what I said, because I think, you know, by us as Christians who hold God's morals, his moral standard as our, how do you say that? I don't know, but you guys know what I mean. By us complaining and whining about the situation we're in, we're not getting anywhere. You know, by this blue versus red war, you know, the politicians doing this and that, and forcing this on us, and us just constantly focused on that and the negativity of that, they're sucking our energy. Like they're just, our energy is wasted on that, when I think we need to focus our energy on building and growing and families. You know, it's like our pastor has been saying for a while now, we're not going to change America overnight. You know, America will not change with a new politician or a new president, whatever it is, right? The only way America is going to change if we start in our homes. It's got to start with the mother and the father raising healthy kids who will then hopefully go on to marry a healthy spouse and raise more healthy kids. Obviously, when families put God in the center, that is what happens. Nobody's perfect, but that is what happens. We need to put God back in the center of our lives, of our marriages, of our families, of our communities, in the nation. All right, so we have fallen because that God has been taken out of all that. So, and then I had a viewer who requested, who asked like what I see. Can't remember how it was worded, but that what I see in the Amish church or their religion that our churches might be missing. A lot of people view, I've said this before, a lot of people look at the Amish, and it seems all peaceful and all good, and like they have the perfect lifestyle. Everybody wants it. They want out of the chaos they're living in, and they want the Amish lifestyle. And I understand, because we kind of do live in chaos. So there's a lot of little details that I won't be able to hit on, but community is huge. And the Amish people, they probably do it better than most. Now, if we start building community around us, it's going to be a little different, because one reason that the community that the Amish have is so good is because everybody's the same and everybody's forced to think the same. And that is not good, in my opinion. I think everybody should be individual. It's just, yeah. That's one of the side effects of having a good, strong community like the Amish do, is everybody is of the same mind. Everybody they think the same. They speak the same. They just do the same, right? And I know the Bible says that we believers are supposed to be, of the same mind, but not like that. Not as far as clothes, as far as work, as far as, I'm probably rambling here. If you want to be Amish, but don't want their teachings, religious teaching side of it, you just want to live like them, this is what I would do. And me and my wife discussed it. We considered doing this life just to show you guys how to do it and how it's very easily possible. Because although the Amish do without a lot of technology, a lot of luxuries, they don't really do without that much. So they just go about it differently. How do we become more like the Amish? How do we live like the Amish? First thing, if you want to live that lifestyle, the first thing you have to do is get rid of TV, get rid of internet, get rid of social media, get rid of smartphones, get rid of TV, everything. Get the screens out of the house. If you do that, you will be at least 75% of the way there. No joke. When you don't have a TV, or you don't have social media, you don't have internet, you do not have the world's influences coming in through your walls at a constant rate. With media, we know the media, 95%, 90% of what they're saying is not true, just made up stuff. We know that movies are, even setting the nudity and all that stuff aside, movies are putting worldly thoughts, ideas into your children's heads, into our heads, and we become so used to it, these worldly ideas through watching TV, that we think it's okay as Christians, and it's not. TV. When you get rid of that, you stop all the worldly influences coming into your house, or you slow it way down. Number two, when you don't have TV or internet or cell phones, I am guilty of this. We still have a TV upstairs. When you don't have that, you spend more time with your immediate family. Instead of checking Facebook, instead of checking YouTube comments, instead of, guilty of it, I turn and I give my attention to my daughter more. I just do. And she needs that. And our wives need that. And our sons need that, right? When you don't have a TV, you get bored sometimes, and you're forced to find things to do, which is healthy. So you end up spending more time with immediate family, like I said. You run over to the neighbors for the evening, take some ice cream over, chit-chat, communicate, build friendships, build trust. What you don't do is after dinner's over, you don't have anything to do, so you grab a bag of popcorn, you sit in front of the couch, and you zone in on the news or a movie, and everybody else is just doing their own thing. You get closer. So healthy. That is the number one step. Get rid of your TVs. I know it sucks because you can't watch the Amish Potato, but that's okay. Sneak up to the library every once in a while. Use their internet computers to watch my videos, and then you'll be you can live without the Amish Potato. Do it. It will change your life. The second thing I would do, and I kind of pull this from Wranglerstar. Wranglerstar recently released a video discussing this, how he is going about building a community for himself, or a group of guys that he can trust. And in his video, he uses metaphors to kind of point more towards, his idea is more towards having protection set up for his family, for the other people's families, for the neighborhood, using cordless hole punchers. So he used the roofing method. If there's a tree falls on your roof and there's a hole in the roof, you want to build 10, 12 guys where you guys are all using the same nails for your nail. I will put a link to that video in the description below. Go watch that. Even though he's using metaphors for assembling a group of guys who can use those cordless hole punchers to protect whoever needs protected, I think his actual example is maybe even better in the direction I would head down. So find a group of guys, a group of families, like-minded families, take some picking and choosing, and ask them to be part of your tribe, group, right? Cat's down here making noises. Where if a branch falls on your roof in the middle of a storm or middle of the week or something, right? You can call on a couple guys on that group and they can drop what they're doing and then they can come over and help you repair that house so that the next day your family has a dry roof again. That goes with anything. If you need to build a short shed, this group of guys can get together and they can build you a chicken house on a Saturday, right? I would advise getting together once a month, doing a hot dog roast, doing ice cream, something, hanging out with the family, you know, and here's where a lot of trust comes in. Some people will do more work, some people will contribute more than others. You're just going to have to get over that. It's just how it is, right? Hopefully you can build a pretty good clan. You know, this is something that I hope to do in the future. I don't know how soon. I hope to do it. It might take a little bit more pain and discomfort for people to realize that that is a need, but it doesn't hurt to start now. The women, they can have a can day where they get together. They can a bunch of food. You can have a butcher day where all those families get together and slaughter and butcher and freeze pigs, cows, deer, whatever it is. Store up food. There you go, guys. Go find your clan, your tribe, whatever. Like-minded people. Yes, I agree with the Wranglerstar. I think it would be good to know this group of guys knows what they're doing with these cordless hole punchers and that they will use them responsibly if it's needed. I just don't know that we're there yet. The third thing is all these ridiculous rules that the Amish have. Can't have electricity, but you can have generators, or cordless tools. You can't have electricity, but you can have solar power. You can't have cars, but you can pay somebody else to drive you. They all seem dumb and ridiculous. Those rules still contribute to their lifestyle. You know, if you don't have a car, you can't just scurry off the town anytime you want. You know, if we are cooking and we need a stick of butter, we'll run to town really quick, grab a stick of butter so we can finish cooking. That doesn't happen in Amish homes. It takes a lot longer to get to town. So you make those trips count. So if you're wanting to live this lifestyle, I wouldn't suggest getting rid of your car unless you really want to do a horse and buggy and bicycles. Just keep a car. You have to become very self-disciplined, right? Just say you're only going to town so many times a week, and then that's it. If you just don't go, even if you need something, you can always make do. Maybe even only have one car and a bicycle. If the wife stays at home, leave the car at home for her, and the husband finds a way to work with a co-worker or bicycle or whatever. That will limit your traveling to one car, so when you do decide to go to town to get groceries or the home improvement store, you go together and you make it count, right? And then, once again, you're together as a family. Electricity, if I were to do it, I would keep my electricity because otherwise you'd have to use gas lights, kerosene lamps. Electricity is cheaper, but I would only use it for the lights and the refrigerator and maybe the washing machine. Not the dryer, just washing machine. I don't know. Now I would have to use an AC, though. I don't know if I'd want to live without an AC, especially in the humid climates. I could do it here in Idaho. Climate's better, dry. Yeah, if I lived out where it's humid, I would use electricity for lights, for refrigerator, for washer, and for the AC. The rest of it, hang dry your clothes. Yes, more work, keeps you busy. Still, hang dry your clothes. It's cheaper. Get rid of all the carpet in the home, so you don't need a vacuum. You can sweep, right? Amish people don't have carpets in their home because of that. It's, yes, more work, but if you're going to live like the Amish, the woman probably has to stay at home unless there's no kids in the house. Don't get a dishwasher. I think they're stupid. Yes, they kind of sanitize dishes maybe, but if you use a dishwasher, you have to hand spray. You kind of have to rinse the dishes off anyway, get most of the stuff off before you put them in. And then you start the dishwasher, and this dishwasher runs a couple cycles of water and heat, and then flushes it all down the drain. And then you got to put it away. How much longer, how much harder is it to fix a sink of dish water and just wash them by hand? Especially if you have kids. You wash them, rinse them, they dry them, they put them away. Done deal. Doesn't take long. Now that I'm cooking, I cooked tonight, this Sunday night. I tried to cook a breakfast casserole. Yeah, it was all right. I messed up a couple things. It's why, yeah, my wife is usually the one doing the cooking. She's much, much better. But as I was cooking, I had a sink full of hot dishwater. I can't, must not supposed to be talking about dishwater on a Sunday. But I had it ready, right? As I was cooking, waiting for food to cook or whatever, I would wash the dishes, or if I used the measuring cup, I would use it, and then I would wash it and then use it for something else, and it's just a lot less dishes, and it's especially helpful if you have little helpers that can help you do that. And you can teach them while they're doing that. When you do all these things, when you do all this work, when you wash the clothes and you go hang them up to dry, or when you are cooking and washing dishes, and when you're cleaning the house, your kids need to be involved. Your kids is so important. Don't, and we fail at this. Don't just tell your kids, go wash dishes. Or don't just go clean the bathroom, right? Don't just tell them that. You need to, especially until they know how really good, you need to go do it with them and encourage them and show them how, and always be working with them. We lack in that. I hope we can get better. When I do that, I see so much better results out of the kids. I have a brother-in-law, I think his parents did that with them, and they have a great work ethic, and they're just, don't complain, they just do it. I think that's the key. Do the work with them instead of just making them go do it. I understand sometimes you might have to go weed the tomatoes in the garden. I got to go get this done, right? But as much as you possibly can, work with them. Builds good kids. What else is there? Garden. Yeah, plant stuff. Plant big gardens. Canned food, plant gardens, grow. There is something about gardening that is just awesome. It is a miracle. Not a miracle, but it's fantastic how you can put a little seed in the ground, and out of that comes this huge plant with delicious food on it. So much better than store-bought. You cannot buy good store-bought tomatoes or good store-bought corn or good store-bought, well, pretty much anything. If you have never had a garden, start with a few plants, 1, 2, 3 different kinds of plants on your back porch, in pots, whatever. Good start. Do that. Preserve all the food you can. Animals, raise animals if you can. It is good to know that it's good for your kids to have chores, for sure. And it's good for them, I think, to know where their food comes from. So old Freckles and Flash that they feed every day, the pigs, will eventually become food. And it definitely makes us appreciate the meat more. Basically, guys, off-grid living. Tons of YouTubers are doing off-grid living. Go watch their content. Go watch their stuff. That's what it is. Just off-grid living. You know, if you want to take it all the way, you know, off-grid with Doug and Stacy, they live like Amish people do, except they have a truck. They're using kerosene lights. They don't have powered running water. It's all gravity feed. They have a composting toilet. All that stuff is doable. So I don't know. There's a lot more details. I think, you know, as far as churches, what our churches should be doing, we should be having potlucks every Sunday, every other Sunday, at least once a month, to build bonds, to interact with others. We should be having, I think churches should do something, more outreaches, you know, to people in the community. If they see that this yard is not being taken care of, let's check into it. There's an old lady living there. Men of the church, volunteers, whatever. Let's go clean up that person's yard because they can't. That type of stuff, right? If we have meal trains for people in church who are sick, I understand, like, I think our church has these outreach things, but they're just available. Nobody really, I don't know, I didn't even know they were there. Just, we see a need, let's go take care of it. As a church, as a volunteer program, it's just, you know, it's just hard getting people to step on board in this world where in the Amish world, it's not. It just happens. You're not going to hit it exactly, but the main things are TV and community. Those are the big things. And then just the more Amish you want to be, the less stuff you get rid of in your house. Just don't plug in all those accessories. Do without. I'm CJ. This is the Amish Potato. I hope that answers your questions.